Right there in the middle of my doubt, I heard a voice calling out, are you gonna trust me, son? Are you gonna trust me, son? 'Cause you're learning to fly like a bird in the sky. You're learning to try the ways of love. Though it's gonna take time, you're just beginning to fly on the wings of love. And you're gonna get there. Now I see my faith becomes reality. I learn to trust you as I'm reaching for the sky. Give me hope, help me cope with the problems of this day. You're waiting there to greet me. No flower can defeat me. 'Cause I'm learning to fly like a bird in the sky. I'm learning to try the ways of love. Though it's going to take time, I'm just beginning to fly on the wings of love. I'm learning to trust, 'cause I know that I must believe in the one who has given me son and given me hope, knowing that I've just begun to rise above and soar on the wings. I'm learning to try the ways of love. I know it's going to take time. I'm just beginning to fly on the wings.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to CCM Live. It's Thursday. Thanks for being here. Third show of the week. I think this is week 4, right? Time flies when you're having fun. Hey, good to see you guys. My name is Marcus. I am your humble host, and we've had a great week. It's just been an awesome week. Good discussions, good people, and so here's the deal. We do this as a collaborative effort. So if you are watching right now live, hit that share button, tag somebody's name in the comments, put all the hearts and thumbs ups and mad faces and cry laughters, whatever you want. I'm watching them. I'm going to put your comments up on the screen. And when Caitie Hurst is here in a second, we'll ask her some of your stuff. And it's great. So also, make sure that if you haven't checked it out, go watch all the archived episodes of the show at ccmmagazine.com. So here's the deal. You're not here to listen to me chatting to myself. We've got Caitie Hurst here, and here's the deal. She is one of the newest signees to Centricity Music, the powerhouse label in Nashville, and they're just killing it with Peabod, who was on the show week 1. We've got Jordan Feliz, Lauren Daigle, those guys. It's awesome. So she's bringing the high-powered pop music to the summer, and she's here with us right now. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good.
Hey. Yeah. So the first question is, did you recognize that song, the intro?
It seemed a little familiar. I had to go back into the recesses of my brain to remember, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so a long time ago, I worked for Christian Supply, which was it was kind of like a family Christian store, but it was out in the Northwest, and they were owned by Pamplin, which was the record label that your dad was on with Solomon's Wish.
That's so crazy.
With that album. So those of you who didn't know who that was Solomon's Wish, which is Caitie's dad, Mike.
That's so funny.
I love that. I remember that song too. We used to be we were bumping all the Pamplin records in our music department all the time. So yeah, it was a good discovery when you told us that last time. Because we've talked before. We've been on a show like this before. So I've learned so much about you now. We're digging to the next level.
Yes.
So you, what's that?
Where did you find learning to fly? I'm just curious.
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the old YouTube download. Yeah, it's there. It's amazing. I know it's not on Spotify. It's the stuff you have to dig pretty deep. So you've got your EP, How Can I Be Silent, coming out tomorrow. I saw an awesome that I started with this whole thing about your dad because you had this cool picture on Facebook of it was your EP right next to his solo album, and that's pretty cool. Like, so when I talked to you last, you talked about how singing for you wasn't something that came like super easily to you, like naturally, and it was something that others had to call out of you, and God spoke into your heart. But you have this dad who has been part of a Christian band and do his own solo stuff. I mean, did they at all encourage music? Did they just say, we'll see what happens with her? What did that look like growing up?
Yeah, I mean, I think like being around like a band and just tour, like, cause me and my brother and my mom all went on the road with dad, like for a couple years. And so I think just being around that, like, kind of made me like, it kind of grew my love for music, but I was super little. And so I think like, I had fun with it then, but it was like once middle school hit, then that was when I wasn't singing in front of anybody. But as far as like, like I remember being on, for one tour, we had a tour bus, and that was like some of my most favorite memories.
Yes.
So
that's awesome.
So it did encourage it a little bit, and I think it was just fun to like get to be a part of that for a few years.
But did he straight up say, Caitie, I think you should be singing, like, maybe you'll be on stage someday, maybe you'll be doing this kind of thing, or was it just kind of, hands off? I mean, kind of hands, like my parents kind of let me do whatever.
Like they didn't push me to do anything. They for sure encouraged it. Cause I think like they knew that I could sing and knew that hey chef, what's up? They knew I could sing. And so kind of like they did encourage me to start singing, but they didn't like push me to do anything. It was more just, I had to have a lot of people encouraging me because I was just like very resistant.
I mean, even if they did say something, it's, parents, it can only go so far before you've got to hear it from someone else. And then the parents go, I've been saying this the whole time. So it was good they skipped that step. That's good. Yeah. What has your summer been like? I mean, obviously a year ago, you didn't have a single out. Was Centricity even in the picture a year ago?
Centricity was in the picture a year ago, but I hadn't signed like a record deal yet, so it wasn't official. But we were getting there a year ago. But things looked really different.
Yeah, way different. So what has summer been like for you? I mean, you've had a handful of singles out. The EP's almost here, just about here. It's here tomorrow. What's summer been like?
Well, summer I've gotten to do. Hi Jen. I've gotten to do a couple shows like here and there. I'm still, I think I've done about 5 shows today at this point. So I got to play at a live festival in Ohio a couple weeks ago. And so, just get like.
So anyway, you've done 5 total as solo artist, Caitie Hurst?
Yeah, just 5.
And they've only been, I don't know, festivals, like summer festivals?
Well, that was one of them.
Okay.
So that's the only festival that I've done. So
that's still, as one of your 5, that's a pretty big deal.
Well, it came up super last minute too, but it was really fun. So so I've just kind of been getting ready for, the EP and been traveling a little bit here and there.
Well, that's pretty amazing though. Like the just the stages you're finding yourself on, the opportunities that have really opened up. Of course, you've been leading worship with Long Hollow Baptist Church for a long time. I mean, was this last minute festival thing, did it like freak you out? Like, oh my goodness, like I've only done a number of these shows, or was it just like, no problem, let's just, does it get to you anymore?
It freaks me out for sure.
Yeah.
So like I've been leading worship for a while with my church. And hi Naomi.
That's my mom.
Oh, so cool. Well, I've been with them for like a couple years, and actually this summer I got to do like a lot of camps with Long Hollow, which was really fun. But so that's kind of what I'm used to, and so doing a show is like a lot different. So it did freak me out, but But it was honestly a lot of fun. And like my favorite part of doing shows is just like getting to meet the people that are there. And so, like it's fun to get to just like play music for a crowd and then to get to meet them afterwards. So that was honestly what I enjoyed most. But what's that, Julie?
Thank you, Julie. Oh, you weren't talking about me. Julie wasn't talking about me. All right. So how are you? The real question this summer is, how are you going to avoid last summer's ACL incident? I mean, you're leading worship on the stages are getting bigger. You're going to be doing worship and these shows. How do you avoid a season-ending injury?
I'm going to wrap myself in bubble wrap every time I go on stage, and that's going to be how I prevent it.
That's good. Yeah. It was last summer, right? It was
last summer. So we do not want to repeat. For everybody who doesn't know, I last summer tore my ACL while singing and dancing, leading worship. So
that is when it's an energetic place to worship.
It's so much fun, people. Yeah.
I mean, if there's physical risk in worship, think about how much more risk there is in vulnerability.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Gabe keeps waving at you apparently.
Oh, hi, Gabe.
Nice.
Gabe's the best.
So the EP comes out tomorrow. You've got 6 songs on it. People that have been following new Christian music have heard a few of them. How Can I Be Silent? The Nothing to Hide. How did you pick 6 songs? Like, this is something that's been stirring in you. You've gotten together with, a whole new team and stuff like that. But how do you narrow it down? I'm sure you wrote a lot more than 6.
Mm-hmm. It was really hard to narrow it down, to be honest. We actually, I've been writing for over a year for this. And so we had a lot of songs that I loved. And so we all got in a room, me and a couple people from Centricity, and my dad was there. And we just wrote all of them down on like a board, and we listened through all of them. And we actually like rated them, and, just kind of talked through for a while. It was probably like 2 or 3 hours. And I had prayed a lot about like, all right, which songs are the most important. And so it was hard to narrow them down, but I'm excited about the ones that we did end up with.
So was there ever a case where you're sitting with all these people and you're rating them and everyone else said something completely different than what you said? I mean, do you have veto power?
There wasn't ever a moment where it was like, we went head to head on like, no, I want this song. And they were like, no. It was never like that. Honestly, Centricity is like amazing in the fact that Answers is our favorite. Oh, thanks, Jeff. Centricity is like, they're like, we're all a team. And so it's kind of like we try and like work together on which one we both like. Cause like I want them to love whatever I put out too. And so there wasn't, I'm trying to remember.
You're all on the same page.
Yeah. I don't think there was ever a moment when I wanted to like veto something.
Did you write anything dramatically different than the sound that we hear? Like something that would shock people in terms of like stylistically, anything different than this power pop that you've got? Really what you do though is it's worship music cleverly disguised as pop.
Yes.
That's clearly what you do.
Yeah. Well, there's a song that you guys have not heard yet because it comes out tomorrow, but it's called Wanderer, and it's like one of the first, actually it is the first song that I ever released as like an independent artist. Wow. But you probably haven't heard it. Like we took it down a while ago. And so that one actually, it sounds a lot different on the EP than it did when I first wrote it. I just wrote it, me and an acoustic guitar, and I had like a voice memo of it on my phone. And so now it's like, I brought it to a producer and he made it completely different and way more awesome than it was. So yeah, but that's pretty much everything else we kind of write to the track. And so, so it kind of, has its bare bones from.
Oh yeah. Same fingerprints there. So the song, it was already mentioned here, which was Answers. Talk about that song. That one you released, I think, or you posted about it a week ago, and then you've also got Signs. Those two songs. Actually, we'll get back to Answers in a minute. Signs, I was really interested to talk to you about, because what you do is you come out with these like high-powered worship songs that are pop, driven, and then you talked about on Facebook how it had actually this really sort of heavy like inspiration because you traveled overseas. Tell that story for a second.
Yeah, so that song was written probably about like a week after I got back from a mission trip in Thailand. And my church has, like, we support some missionaries that live over there. And so me and a team went over and just spent some time there. And one of like our main, it was an anti-trafficking team. So that's who we were working with. And, it's kind of one of those things where like I was not prepared at all for what I was about to experience. And just saw a lot of just really heavy things that just kind of weighed on my heart. And I just didn't really know how to like work through it all. Just seeing a lot of like brokenness and, people in really dark places. And so getting back from that, I kind of was just like, I went into a write and I didn't really, I honestly, the two guys that I was writing with, I was just like, hey guys, I'm just going to kind of like spill out all my thoughts. And I don't really know what any of it means because I'm still trying to figure it out. But so we wrote that just out of like, okay, where is God in the midst of, this place where human trafficking is like a huge deal. And it's very open there, where we were in Thailand. And so that song was kind of just about, how to see God, how to see the hope that he brings into situations that may look hopeless to us.
I love that. And then talk about Answers as well.
So Answers. So I went into a write with the guy that he produced, I think 3 total songs in the EP. And we're really good friends. I think I talked about him in our last interview.
Yeah, it's the guy that's worked with you for a long time.
Yeah. His wife like mentored me all throughout high school. And he's the one who started like producing music with me when I was an independent artist. But so I went into a write with him, and honestly, I just said, you know what? I want to write a song. I've been trying to write this song for like a year. I just have written down like all these thoughts that I have about it, but I can never make it happen. And so I just told him like, here's what I got. And I just kind of said, I have this list of questions that like kind of constantly runs through my mind of just, questions that I ask God that probably other people ask, they ask them too. And so I was just like, let's write a song about it, because I feel like, sometimes people think that it's not okay to have like questions for God, or, it's not okay to voice doubt at all. And so I just wanted to write a song that, kind of just said like, hey, here are all these things that like, I don't understand. And probably a lot of people don't understand either. And so what do you do with that? And so we actually spent, that song took us 8 hours straight to write. Like we were there for 8 hours. I in the middle of it wanted to like bang my head against a wall, because I was just like, this is, because it's hard when you start writing about doubt and just like things that the human mind can't really comprehend fully. It gets really, really tough.
Draining.
Yeah. But once we were done, I kind of was like, I knew, I was like, this is something really special. And like that's probably, if I had to pick a favorite on the EP, that would be my favorite one.
Well, see, there you go, Savannah, who asked that. What is your favorite song you wrote so far? There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's my wife, by the way, and my daughter's also watching. She was very excited that you were going to be on here.
And hi, Libby. Thank you so much.
That's Libby. Awesome. Well, it looks like I've got a question here. Funny. Lucas loves jamming out to your music, but wants to know when he can hear you live. Are you putting together some tour stuff? What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. Actually, that's my cousin, by the way, Brinkley. And
nice.
yeah. So I'm going out on tour in September through the end of December. So I'll be all over.
Who are you with?
The first tour is with New Song.
Oh, cool.
429. And then the second is the second one for sure? Okay. The second one is with Unspoken, and which they are my label mates, and they're awesome.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that one. And then the third one it's a Christmas tour, which I'm super excited about. But it is with For King and Country and Zach Williams.
That's going to be amazing. Do you have some Christmas tunes that you're going to be rolling out too?
I do. I have a Christmas song that we are working on now.
Oh,
so,
man.
It works.
That's awesome. So cool. So you also have been, you took that missions trip to Thailand. You're obviously still very involved at your church. How has that having a foot really in the local church and the global church, how's that balance been over the past, half a year?
Yeah, it's been honestly really fun, and it's been challenging, but I think for me, I will always love being a part of the local church, and specifically student ministry is something that I am super passionate about. And so, so that is kind of what has actually fueled a lot of my music, is just being around students, being around girls that I get to meet with on a weekly basis. And that's what their stories and their walks with the Lord have fueled a lot of my songs. And so I've always been of the impression that if you're among the people of God, then it's so much easier to understand where they're at and the kind of things that they need to be encouraged in. And that's what I want. I want my music to be encouraging to whoever listens to it. And so it kind of helps me know what needs to be written, what do people need to hear. So yeah.
So what does it look like on a weekly basis? What is Caitie Hurst doing? I know you're leading worship, but what are your responsibilities at the church?
So I'm part-time, but my most favorite thing that I get to do is I meet with our worship team. We have a student worship team. And so I get to meet with our girls that are on that team. And so, so I'm hanging out with students. If I'm at work, I'm planning services. I'm planning we have services every week, every Wednesday. And so, I put together the band for that. And
you're a planning center.
Planning center.
Yep.
So really I just coordinate volunteers, student volunteers for Wednesdays and for Sundays. And then, I just get to kind of mentor our girl worship leaders, and just to get to be a part of planning events for student ministry and stuff.
What's cool about that is you are the next generation of worship leader, right? There's still some generations ahead of you, and yet you're already training the ones behind you. What are some of the big questions and things that you work on with new worship leaders?
The big questions?
Yeah, the things they want to know how to do, or the things that you that you pastor them into as worship leaders. What are some things that you try to instill?
Yeah, I think our most important thing that we try and teach is more off the stage than on. And so, really we try and instill in our people your character when you're, because 99% of your ministry is off stage. It's not seen, from stage. And so we try and teach the importance of how you're a worship leader when you're at school, or, when you're on your sports team, or whatever that looks like.
Yep.
And because I think a lot of the times, I used to think if somebody sings on stage, I want to do that, or they must be really holy. They must be, perfect. And so, so we kind of try and, and teach that the stage is not that is 1% of your platform. And that's not the most important thing. And and actually the most important thing is like what you do when nobody sees you, and how you treat people, when you're not like going to get recognition for it or anything like that. And so, yeah, that's the main thing.
That's good. That's awesome. And I love what you said, just about the fact that it is who you are out there. And it is, you've got to get this right. What I also love is that you do that on Wednesdays or whenever throughout the week. And then you go step on a stage at, what was it, a live fest or something like that? Yeah. And it feels like, it probably can feel like two such different worlds. How would you say, like, you could describe your calling that really overarches both worlds?
That's a loaded question.
Loaded.
I think that what I've always felt called to is just God using me through music, whatever that looks like. And so I think that, I'm still kind of trying to like figure out, what is the difference between like leading worship and then, going and playing a show. But I think what I've started to figure out is that it's the same thing, and it's different, like it's done in different ways, but ultimately, like overall, I just want to do ministry, and I want like my music to minister to people. And so whether that is, at my church and being involved with like my students there, or whether that is at like a festival and, getting to sing for them there. And then like I was saying before, like meeting people afterwards is what I really love, because, I love to just like connect with people and see how, just like see how the music has affected them. And so I think, if I had to say like my overarching calling, it would just be like to communicate God's word through music, and like whatever avenue he gives me to do that, I'm going to do it.
Do you have any cool stories, like anything that really stands out to you from talking to people after shows?
The very first show that I ever did, it was in Michigan, and I played Answers for the first time, and I was really like, I didn't know how it was going to go over live, because I had never played it before, obviously. So, and a girl came up to me afterwards, and she just said, "Hey, that song, like God really spoke to me through that song, because she told me about all of these like health issues that she has, and how she's in and out of the hospital, and she's like 17 years old. And so she just said, like, I've always wondered, like, why would God do this to me? And why would he allow me to have this sickness when like I'm young, and none of my friends are having to go through this." And so, so she just said that song really ministered to me, because, I've realized that like, I don't understand it, but I know that like God has a plan, and I know that I don't have to have all the answers. And so that for me, I loved getting to just like talk to her, and kind of like, there was a whole line of people, but everything kind of stopped for a second. And I was like, okay, this is so cool, because it's not me. It's like God gave me that song. And so he's doing the work and ministering to people through it. So that was really cool for me.
That's awesome, man. And when you can step outside a song and, almost feel like, that it's not, you don't take credit for it. It's not internally something that you're like, yeah, I did that. Like, man, God, you gave this to me for this person and so many others. Is there a song you wish you had written, or is there a song that you feel like you have written because it's so personal to you that you just love right now?
Oh, a song I feel like I have written. Okay, my all-time, man, I have a lot of all-time favorite songs. But okay, this is like so very random. But I was telling somebody this today, so that's what made me think of it. But you know who Joy Williams is?
Yeah.
Okay, so she has this old Christmas song. It's called "Here With Us," and that is probably like one of my most favorite songs of all time. I just think it's like the words are so beautifully written, and I've always said I wish I wrote this song. Like it's just a great song. So
that's awesome. Who else are you listening to? Like, who else inspires you musically?
Man, a lot of different people, a lot of different genres. I love Paramore. I think like a lot of my influences have not necessarily, like my music doesn't sound like them, but it's influenced either like the way that I sing or write. But yeah, Paramore. I grew up listening to Demi Lovato and Miley Cyrus all the time. I love Switchfoot. I like a lot of 80s music, like a lot of
Nice.
bad rock. Journey is like my all-time favorite band. Journey or Coldplay. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Top.
All right, that's good. And the 80s music never gets old.
I know it's time.
a safe bet. It's great. and of course Solomon's Wish. You've got to have
Solomon's
that.
Wish is number one always. Yes.
So good.
Learning to fly. Song.
Yes, that's such a good song. So how my mom is one thing she does when she watches every episode, and she asks if you have a dog. So do you have a dog? I have to ask this question.
I have a dog. She is actually laying on the ground right now beside me. Her name is Ruby, and I think she's 14 years old. She's really, really old.
What is she?
She's a boxer and lab mix.
All right.
Yep.
A blab.
A blab.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. All right, there you go. So is your dad, is he nearby?
He is.
All right. He just has to come. I have to ask him one question. Just one. Since he's here.
I'm here.
Oh, hey, Mike.
What's up, man?
It's Mike Hurst, everybody.
Hey.
Be my friend.
That's awesome. So how are you in manager, like dadager? Is that what's going on? Like,
yes, that is the exact term for it. Right now,
yes.
This is not really the long-term plan, but when things are just
That's
kind
awesome.
of going, I've at least been down this road, so I can kind of help guide, and it's honestly a lot of fun for me to watch. Yeah.
Is it like super surreal too? Just
it is. Like some of the same things, like getting someplace and not having the gear you need, and just kicking yourself and like, what have we done? How are we going to get through this? Taking, I don't know how I did this, but with even with all modern technology, we're on our way to a gig, and I took a wrong turn.
We went. Oh no! We went 3 hours in the wrong direction.
Out of the way.
3 hours in the wrong direction.
3 hours.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. But at the same time, it's so different, from when you were doing your thing. And but what's awesome is to see someone that did Christian music, did not get burnt out, still loves it, and is excited about it for his own daughter. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's I think the fact that they got to come with us back in the day, they staying in hotels and being in a car for 10 hours at a stretch didn't really bother them. So they're just.
That's how you train your kids to do road trips, everybody. You just make the road trips really long, and then the short ones are not a big deal.
Exactly.
That's what you do. Well, how can all of us be praying for you guys as we enter the end of summer and into fall and EP release and all that?
That is so sweet. I think like the biggest thing right now is just for wisdom as as we're like, I'm about to go on tour. I've never done that before. And so just to be wise in the way that I like handle that. And yeah, cause I want to be like the best steward of it that I can be. And so I think that, that would be what I like desire most. And also for health, cause I don't want to get.
Man, that is real though. I mean, shaking hands and eating pretty show food and yeah. I was on the road show just embedded in that tour a few years ago. There would be stuff that just swept because people weren't washing those. It's brutal. So yes, let's pray now, guys. You can go later. I'll pray with you guys. Father God, thank you so much for just an awesome legacy that's there in the Hurst family, Lord. A story that you've written and you continue to write, one of worship, one of musical praise to you, of truth. And God, we just pray over this EP that releases tomorrow, this catchy worship to you, Lord, that we just pray that it'd reach people in an unexpected way, that they'd be praising you and realize that that's what they're doing while they're having fun, Lord. And God, we just ask your blessing and your presence over everything Caitie does, and wisdom to step into the right opportunities, and presence to fully realize the potential you have for each thing that you've called her to. So we just ask for your protection from illness and ACL tears and everything else, whatever it is that meets Caitie, whatever challenges out there, Lord. We just pray for your ability to break through and make your name known. And so we thank you so much. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Yes. Brinkley, your cousin, wanted to know, I think, Mike, if you had Folgers in your cup.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. I mean, it is almost bedtime, so yeah.
We take coffee very seriously.
Yeah, good. I'm glad it's not Folgers. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. So the EP comes out tomorrow. How Can I Be Silent EP? Yep. Wherever you get music, go get it. I'm sure if you stay up late enough tonight, you can get it tonight.
Yep.
And so yeah, there's 6 songs on there. You've heard a few of them. Maybe you haven't. Just go listen to it. And I love it because, like I've said a few times, is like it's you realize, like, as you're hearing it, it's pop, but then you start to really unpack the lyrics, and it is total worship, different than what you've done with Long Hollow, but still worship just the same. So it's awesome. So thank you, best to you, and hopefully we'll see you out on the road here before too long.
Well, thank you so much, Marcus. This was so cool.
Awesome. We'll have you back.
Everybody who was watching.
Yes, and tell Mike thanks for being a good sport and jumping on with us.
I will tell him.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
All right. So that's our week. Thanks everybody for being here. We've got another great week. Next week we got Johnny Diaz will be here, Natasha Owens, and I'm working on Caitie's tour mates Building 429 also. So hopefully we'll be able to officially announce that. So that will, anyway, stay tuned to CCM Magazine, the CCM Facebook page, the CCM Live with Marcus. There's a lot of places you can find out about it. So check it out there, and we will see you guys next week. All right. Thanks, everybody.